guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa if you are new here. Today we're going to be talking about TeaSpiracy and Radiant Britt. There's a little bit of drama going on and I'm here to talk about it. So let's talk about it. Okay, this video might be a little bit controversial, might get me some hate, I'm not really sure, but as you guys know, I have not covered Radiant Britt on my channel for quite a while. I would say maybe like 3 months. I think the Peter Mon situation is probably the last time I covered her because I'm trying not to nitpick about every single thing she does. You know, there are some things that I've agreed with her on lately, and there's some things that I don't, and that's just how it is. But Radiant Britt recently did a video calling out some channels who were covering the Gabby Petito case. She covered out, oh my gosh, I can't fucking talk. She covered Joseph Morris, Natasha Cooper. She already had done one on Katie Joy. But for the video, I guess she was an honorable mention. TeaSpiracy and DCP. So, Radiant Britt did her video kind of set up like from the most problematic to the least problematic. And I feel like conveniently she put Dad Challenge Podcast to be the least problematic, and I feel like that's why she set it up like that. She set it up to go by how many videos each person did. But I feel like that was just really not a good way to go about things because it all depends on what's in those videos. Joseph Morris, clearly, I think we can all agree that he's total trash, grimy, greedy. He's like the used car salesman of YouTube. Okay? Now, TeaSpiracy, I don't understand why she was on this list. Okay? Now, I get it. She has done a lot of live streams. But if you actually take the time to go look at her live streams, she's very respectful. She's not sensationalizing anything. She's not making all these crazy conspiracy theories. So to put her in a list with Dad Challenge Podcast, Natasha Cooper, and Without a Crystal Ball, and Joseph Morris, I can kind of see why she was pissed.
So the next YouTuber we need to discuss with this Gabby Petito coverage is Miss TeaSpiracy. So I'm sure some of you guys know who TeaSpiracy is. She has a history of covering Katie Joy, Without a Crystal Ball, and you know, she has an okay platform. She's at 6.4 thousand subscribers as of right now, and true crime, to my knowledge, is nothing that she's ever covered. She has 19 videos about Gabby Petito. Several of them are long live streams, over an hour long. Here's one that's over 2 hours. This one's almost 3 hours. Another one over 2 hours. So this goes back to the same thing. Why are we sitting on live streams for multiple hours just, playing Clue? This is not anyone's game of detective to solve with your subscribers. And if you subscribe to TeaSpiracy and you like her, that's good for you. That's totally fine. But when we're talking about creators who I've come across over the last week that, in my opinion, have just gone totally out of control with the Gabby Petito videos, she's definitely on the list. So let's move on.
So TeaSpiracy did a live stream responding to Radiant Britt's video, and she looked visibly upset and irritated, and I don't blame her. She was literally put on the list and lumped together with Dad Challenge Podcast, Natasha Cooper, and Joseph Morris. Natasha Cooper was bragging about how she's getting subs and this and that. Joseph Morris is spreading lies. He's spreading false information. He's literally trying to get as many subscribers as possible and make bank. He's doing hundreds of fucking hours of live streams. Dad Challenge Podcast. Okay. Let's get into him because on one hand, I was really happy that Radiant Britt called him out on his shit. But on the other hand, I was kind of disappointed because I feel like she went really easy on him. And I understand that the video was not about his past behavior. But he is you know, the self-made leader of exploited children. So that's why it also makes what he's doing worse. Because he's all about exploitation, he's all about saving kids and this and that, and then he has no problem though exploiting victims of a domestic violence murder. So TeaSpiracy decides to react to Radiant Britt's video. I will leave Radiant Britt's video and TeaSpiracy's video down below. So when I watched TeaSpiracy's video, you could tell that she was like really upset. You could tell that she was kind of shocked why she was being made into this video and put into this video. And how people respond to things, their facial expressions, their emotions can really tell you something sometimes. Now, can people fool you? Of course. But it can really tell you sometimes, like Joseph Morris was caught laughing about it when he got called out. You know what I mean? Dad Challenge Podcast doesn't care at all. He doesn't care. But TeaSpiracy, when she was labeled as kind of exploiting this case, she was really upset about it. She was like, I'm not capitalizing on this. She's like, I actually care about it, passionate about this subject.
Yeah. So this is really sad. Obviously, I'm not monetizing this stream. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to do anything like that. What I do want to do is see if we can all, as just a live chat, just kind of talk amongst ourselves as we listen, right? That's really all there is to it. I just think that I just wanted to see if you guys wanted to pay your respects to Gabby and how maybe she affected you in some way. And yeah, so I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna rewind this. I think that they have shut the microphone off and they're just kind of watching. I was hoping that I could rewind it to show you guys. Joe is like really moving, you know. I caught him talking about how many people like on this planet know her name now, you know, and how many people she's touched and whatnot. And as sad as this is, like, this is a sad reality, right? Like, you know, you hear these stories on the internet, you get interested in them for quote unquote entertainment purposes, right? But there are actual people with people who love them, who miss them, behind these people who are quote unquote entertainment, right? So it's really sick when you think of it that way. Like, you know, somebody's worst story is somebody else's entertainment, right? Because there's a million true crime channels who tell crazy stories, and you know, and everybody gets sucked in. But this was like a beautiful young girl who was taken too soon, who did document her entire trip on the internet for everyone to see, and there was like a map involved, and it's just like
my audience likes watching these things with me, and I kind of got another side to the coverage of this case when I was watching her video, because I do understand the fact where people want answers. This is another case of Brit not doing her research, and I feel like I'm not trying to rag on her, but she's done this before. It's like she literally just counted how many videos TeaSpiracy did and then decided that she's a horrible person for it. I'm like, okay, that's a little extreme. I understand there's kind of tension right now in the true crime community and people covering the Gabby case, but we can't just label everybody. That's why I'm making specific videos. Somebody said in my comments, they're like, why don't you just speak generally? Why are you naming people? Because I have problems with specific people. I'm not going to label the whole community or everybody doing it bad or exploiting, because that's not true. I'm not going to make somebody think, oh, is she talking about me? Because, you know what I mean? That's the problem with like being too vague sometimes, and why I'm making specific videos. I just recorded a video about Katie Joy and her coverage of the case. I have a problem with Dad Challenge Podcast, Katie Joy. I have a problem with Joseph Morris. I have a problem with how the interview room is covering things, but not everybody. And I don't feel like TeaSpiracy deserved to be thrown under the bus like that. Also very weird is TeaSpiracy said that Brit emailed somebody and told them, I know you have a bias for AZ, but you don't know who she really is. Okay, it's one thing to get on a video and say your commentary and your opinion, But why did she feel it necessary to email somebody, like to try to turn them against TeaSpiracy? And I've heard a lot of Brit doing things like that behind the scenes. She's like doing this and this behind the scenes, and I just don't think that's necessary. There's a difference between commentary and gatekeeping, okay? You can give your commentary and say, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this. But for some reason, the certain things that Brit talks about, she comes off as super like condescending and better than and self-righteous. Now, don't get me wrong, there's people that need to be called out. But listing all these people and just lumping others in who don't deserve it, I don't think is right. And I don't blame TeaSpiracy for getting upset about it. I think it was messed up, and I think it's messed up she has some weird thing against her. I don't know why. Also, she kind of made this weird comment like, oh, she has an okay sized channel. Like, what was that about? I don't know. She just seemed really shady towards TeaSpiracy in this video. And one of the things that made me upset is I feel like she went really hard on TeaSpiracy, but then took it super easy on Dad Challenge podcast. Not to mention, if we just put aside all the problematic stuff that he has done, if we just talk about the Gabby Petito case, body found. What was the other one? Oh, reward for Brian, let's split the profit. When he's on the live stream, he's joking, saying, ooh, maybe Brian's at Micah's house. He's being extremely disrespectful. His thumbnails are disrespectful. His titles are gross. He's cashing in. He's promoting his Patreon. He's promoting his memberships. He's actively telling people to donate and buy him coffee. I think I might be getting sick because I kind of feel like I'm starting to lose my voice. You can tell who's money hungry and grubby and just like trying to cash in as much as possible, and Dad Challenge podcast is one of them, okay? He's one of them, and I just feel like she kind of glazed over what he did and made it so that, oh, well, you know, he's going to be the last one on the list, and I've supported him so much, and I've criticized. She also said that she's given him tons of criticism, which I have never heard. I have never heard her call him out for telling people to call CPS. I've never heard her call him out for trashing and degrading women. I've never heard her call him out for exploiting Piper and Danielle Cohn by using them in his videos and putting their pictures, okay? I just don't think it was a fair kind of video, in my opinion. Like, TeaSpiracy, I think she's doing a great job covering the case. Now, I will admit, at first, when I saw that she was doing a tons of live streams, I'm like, oh man, like she's kind of covering it a lot. Like that's doing the most. But if you actually go watch her live stream, she's not doing that. She's actually not. And that's why it's so important to look into things before you form an opinion on your channel to your audience. You have to actually watch this stuff. And there's no way to research when you're uploading a video every day about what's going on. You have no time to watch all of these people that you're talking about. There was no way that she watched Joseph Morris, Natasha Cooper, TeaSpiracy, Katie Joy's videos, and Josh's videos. All in that tiny time frame. There is no way she watched all those people's content. When you're gonna make a video on somebody, do your research. Watch their content. In my video about Peter Mont, I called her out because she's constantly telling people to do their research, yet she does none. She doesn't do any research. And she contradicts herself constantly. And you know what? If people have a problem with me calling out Radiant Britt, you can go, you know what? We don't have to agree. Okay, if you like Brit, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying to cancel anybody. I'm against cancel culture. I'm against deplatforming people, but I'm not against sharing your commentary and opinions. But let's leave it at that. We don't have to be emailing people and trying to turn others against other people out of bitterness, out of being salty. Brit seems to have a really huge issue with people going live, and she's talked about it before. I don't know why. She also has a huge issue with people having memberships. I don't know why. She throws shade all the time about YouTubers having a full-time career on YouTube, which there's nothing wrong with that if you're doing it with integrity. And there are a lot of great YouTube channels out there who do YouTube full-time. So I'm just like, I'm just banging my head against the wall because I've agreed with her on the Gabby Petito stuff. I agreed with her of what she said of Dance Challenge podcast. But then it's like she's throwing another channel who doesn't deserve it under the bus. And I just don't understand. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think about TeaSpiracy? What do you think about all the other channels she talked about in her video? Do you think Brit was being unfair? I think she was, and I think she was being way too easy on DCP. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.